Hello, my friends. It's Luke here. So last week I was going to do some more cold calling for you live, but someone in our office caught the old COVID-19. Not sure if you've heard of it. It's a pandemic globally. I guess it's going around. I don't know. So anyway, we worked from home, and so I made some calls from home. Our social media chick, Alejandra, she was gone over in Mexico doing God knows what. And so, yeah, so, the only thing we really have to do is handpicking one phone call from over the past week when I was calling from home, and we will be breaking that call down. From when I was dialing last Wednesday from home. Also, we're gonna do a video here soon of dialing from home. It'll be a fun one. You'll enjoy it. But, so I have handpicked two phone calls, and we're gonna just jump on into the very first one. Here is the call. Something I want you to pay attention to, though, is I want you to notice how similar it is to the other, the other phone calls of booked appointments. You're gonna notice that they're very parallel in the sense that the wording, is in the order that it goes in. It's almost identical. And it's once you can kind of get that going of every phone call that you can make it just exactly like the last one, but obviously not sound robotic. That is where you want to be.
Call here is a little out of the blue. Hello? Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Jesse? Yeah. Jesse, how you doing? This is Luke. Sorry that the call here is a little out of the blue. But I was calling about a property I believe you own on Tranquil Boulevard in PV. Uh-huh. Yeah, I wanted to give you a quick call, and I just wanted to see if you would ever consider an offer on that property there. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Yeah, so just so you know, my partner and I, we buy all of our properties. Hello? Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Jesse? Yeah. Jesse, how you doing? This is Luke.
Sounds like it restarted
there. The call here is a little out of the blue. But I was calling about a property I believe you own on Tranquil Boulevard in PV. Uh-huh. Yeah, I wanted to give you a quick call, and I just wanted to see if you would ever consider an offer on that property there. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Yeah, so just so you know, my partner and I, we buy all of our properties cash.
Guys, again, just keep in mind, when someone says yes or maybe, just roll right into it. Don't give it any time for them to kind of think about it and to kind of change their mind. Just roll right into your script from that point.
We pay your closing costs, doc fees, and we don't charge any realtor fees at all. So we can actually save you, the full 6% that you typically pay by putting it on the market. And then then the other thing that's really nice is that we buy all of our properties in as-is condition. So, we wouldn't ask you to dump any money back into it. We wouldn't ask you to fix anything if it's not working perfectly. We take it just exactly how it sits right now. But I was going to ask you, I don't know if you'd thought about it.
So again, really quick. So the reason that you want to roll into how you purchase the properties right off the bat is because you're going to come in and you're going to be giving them an offer that is going to be less than what market value is. So you want to explain to them why your offer is going to be coming in lower.
But, for just a net cash offer like that, did you possibly have a number in mind you'd be hoping to get for it?
Oh, shit, man, I hadn't really thought about it too hard. I know in that area, some of the houses are going, upwards of 300.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Is your property there, is it give or take, is it about 1,600 square feet or so? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, there's like 1550 or something like that.
Okay, awesome.
Right around there, almost 1,600, yeah.
Right, okay, cool. Yeah, so for just net cash offers in that area there, like I said, just straight in your pocket, as is condition and everything, we've been buying our properties right in the ballpark of about $240,000 to $260,000 cash. Again, it really just depends on the property. Once we're able to kind of come take a look at it, kind of give us a better idea of exactly, where we fall in between that range. So we've been just net cash, right in that ballpark of that 240 to 260.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've done the quick estimates, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's on the low side of 270 and the high side of like 330.
Okay, yeah. What makes you possibly want to sell the property?
Money.
Yeah, I hear you. Always.
So he just gave me his motivation right off the bat. His motivation was money. There's gonna be people who have different motivations for everything. Some people it's gonna be, family lives out of state. Some people it's gonna be money. Some people it's gonna be, anything. I mean, you have all kinds of different reasons for what that motivation is. You just need to find it out right off the bat.
Good payment on it. Yeah. So, I mean,
No, for sure.
it's not worth my while to.
For sure. No, yes. I mean, like you said, I know we've seen houses.
Always. Got a good payment on it. Yeah. So, I mean,
No, for sure.
it's not worth my while to.
For sure. No, yes. I mean, like you said, I know we've seen houses in the area, like you said, going for upwards of 300 as well. But then again, just keep in mind, obviously, that the houses that are selling for three plus, they're selling on the market, obviously. So I mean, when you do put it on the market, you're paying that 6% realtor fee, 3% to a buyer.
So again, I'd run the numbers, and like he said, 300 is fairly accurate. For a nice renovated property, though, you are going to get probably 330 to 350 in this area. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind there for the numbers.
Buyer's agent, 3% to a seller's agent. So 6% on a 300 sale price. That's 18 grand coming off the top just like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got the closing costs, the dock fees, which a lot of times those can be, somewhere in that ballpark of 1 to 1.5%. I mean, that's another.
That should sound very familiar to the last phone call.
That's another 3 grand to 4,500 coming off, and then then obviously there's always an inspection where they're going to say, hey, this isn't up to code, this isn't great condition, this needs to be fixed, whatever. So the other thing that we always do, a lot of times when you do inspection, a lot of times you pull another 5 to 10,000 off, depending on if they're going to do a credit or if you're going to fix some of the things that aren't perfect. So
if you can't tell, Jesse works at a construction site. So that's the background noise for you.
Yeah, I've done a lot of upkeeping, updating to the inside, and I just got a new roof put on the house this summer. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, awesome.
There shouldn't be anything really wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, there's obviously a chance we could even come up higher than that range I gave you. Obviously, it just kind of depends on how clean the property is. What would be I'm trying to think. The next step for me would be getting a chance to meet you and taking a look at the property, so I could kind of give you a better idea of exactly where I could fall in between that range there. What does the rest of the week look like if I was to swing by for 5 minutes and just kind of take a look at it?
Yeah, I'm usually off by like 5:30 every day. So anytime after that will be fine.
Okay, cool. How does like, let's say if we just plan for like 5:30 tomorrow, I'll be right in that area, right?
So guys, if you're trying to book an appointment, if you have someone that is willing to, to book an appointment with you, try to set it for as soon as you possibly can. So again, I knew that I was going to be in town that very next day. So obviously I was trying to book the appointment for the very next day. The longer that you go, the further out that you try to book it, say you're like, oh, I could be there in 2 weeks or something. People are forgetful. That puts more time in between it for them to forget about you. It puts more time in between the appointment for them to, get other calls, to get other offers, to be speaking with other people. So when you're booking an appointment, book it as close to the day that you're talking to them that you possibly can.
5:30 tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll just swing by for, like I said, probably a quick 5-10 minutes, and we'll see what we can do.
Another thing, when you're booking the appointment, make it extremely convenient for them. So you'll hear me say, a walkthrough for me will take, a quick 5 minutes to walk through and kind of get an idea of where I need to be on the property, right? So, you don't want to say, can you block off from 3 to 4 for me or something like that. Like, people don't want a stranger in their house for an hour. So just try to, a quick, swing by real quick, something like that. Just make it convenient for him.
All right, cool.
Awesome. Hey, it was a pleasure speaking with you then, and yeah, we'll see where we're at tomorrow, and let's go from there.
All right, sounds good. What did you say your name was again?
Yeah, my name is Luke.
Luke? Okay, that's
Yes,
good.
sir.
All right.
And then if you want, I'll text you over my phone number so you've got it, my cell phone.
Okay, perfect. That'll work.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jess. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. All right, bye now.
Boom. So there it is. So that was another video of booking an appointment. And again, I want you to just keep in mind how similar everything was to the last video of booking the appointment. Everything should be very cohesive throughout the entire phone call. So, let me pull up the second video. Hey, Jesse.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? It's Luke. How you doing?
Good, you?
Doing well, doing well. Hey, I wanted to see, is this a good time to talk for a few minutes, or is there a better time?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get the chance to text back yet.
Oh, no, you're good. No worries at all. I know you're busy as well. So, yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for giving us a chance to meet you at the property yesterday. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. So Jake and I, we got... Always make sure you thank them for their time. Always. Back into the office today. We were kind of able to take a look at everything, go through the photos. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we're definitely interested in making something work. Like I said, we buy the property cash. We pay the closing costs, doc fees. We don't charge any realtor fees at all. And again, like I kind of broke down to you the first time, realtor fees alone a lot of times can be, 6%, 3% to a buyer agent and 3% to a seller agent. So, 6% again on a sale price of, around 300, that's 18 grand coming off the top immediately. Plus the others. So again, what I'm doing here, I'm reiterating what we talked about the first time. It's been, 2 days since we had originally had these talks about the numbers and everything. So I'm just putting it back in his mind again. Stuff that we kind of talked about. So, after we looked at everything, we would probably be looking at putting, some money into the kitchen, doing some, upgrading the appliances, probably upgrading the countertops, doing some granite countertops. We'd probably paint the cabinets like we'd kind of talked about.
Yeah.
Probably do some tile, backsplash, and kind of finish. So painting the cabinets, that was something that he had thrown out. So what you always want to do is when you're delivering the numbers back to them to try to see if you can make it work, is we like to use the things against them that they had mentioned. So he had said, hey, I need to do a backsplash. I know my cabinets, they're nice condition, but they need to be painted, kind of, give them a facelift. So you always want to make sure that you're bringing those things up that they had already mentioned, as well as the things that you're going to do by yourself there. That off. And then just probably, repaint the inside of the property, and we'd probably kind of update some of the fixtures and stuff throughout the property as well.
Get rid of the granny sinks.
Yeah, exactly, right? With that being said, where our number is going to kind of come in for you, I know that I had originally given you a kind of an estimate of like 240 to 260,000. But then I know I told you that, once I was able to take a look at it, I could kind of give you a better idea of where I'd come in for you. So the property was cleaner than what we kind of expected. So, it's got like you said, it's got a new roof, and the AC and the windows are good. So those are a couple of the big things that are taken care of, which is nice. But so where we would be able to come in for you for just that net cash offer in your pocket would be right at that top of where we were kind of thinking, which would be 260,000 cash.
260?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I won't be able to, I can't sell for that, you know what I mean? I understand you guys got to do stuff to it.
Yeah.
What
do you think is the number you'd be looking for?
I want it to be right around 300.
Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, I think that if you were to list the property, I think that, you could be closer to that 290 to 3. But again, you just got to keep in mind, you're going to pay those, you're going to have the realtor fees, you're going to have the 1 to 1.5% closing costs, which will be another, $3 grand to say 4,500. You're going to have, you're going to have an inspection where they're going to come in and say, hey, if this isn't working right, if this isn't perfect, this needs to be updated, stuff like that. So, again, like I said, a lot of times that can end up being another, 5 to 10 grand, just whether they do a credit or if they actually ask you to fix the things. And so, just between the realtor fees, closing costs, kind of everything, I mean, the thing is that could be a $30,000 drop from that 290 to 300. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, a lot of times what we kind of notice is that our offer will end up being extremely similar to what you end up walking with, but you don't have to go through the process of getting a realtor, getting all that stuff signed up, having people walk through your property left and right, kind of worrying about putting the dog up, stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I get it. I just don't. Yeah, I won't be able to.
Yeah.
Do 260. So.
What's kind of? I mean, so I know you'd say you were kind of looking to maybe list it around 3. I mean, what would you be hoping to walk with?
Well, I was hoping to walk with about 300.
So you wanted to. So when he says right there he wants to walk with 300, he's not being realistic here. Because I mean, realistically, he could probably list the property in the condition that it's in around 3. If he's going to try to walk with 300 exactly how it sits and not pay anything else, it's not really realistic. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, so I mean, I know I can put another few $1,000s into it and upgrade some of the stuff that I've been wanting to.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it also, from what I understand is, it's probably worth somewhere around 290 to 330, on the high end to being all updated, you know what I mean? So.
So as you guys see too, a lot of times this happens where, when they start talking, it doesn't end up making a lot of sense. Where he's saying, okay, well, if I can sell on the high end for 290 to 330, after it's all nice and renovated, you got to put that money into the property to get it to that point. So, that's what's kind of interesting. And I mean, I'm sure you guys come across that as well. So this to me just says that there's, there might be something else there that he's just not super, maybe he's not quite ready to sell yet.
Right. I mean, if I can spend, $5,000 or $10,000 to get things where I want to be, I think it would be in that upwards of 330, 320, 330 range.
Okay. So I mean, you don't really think there's much. So again, if he's going to try to sell this for, let's just say 320, what he's saying, but putting 10 grand into it, right? So you're adding an extra 10, and then you're taking all those fees out at the backside anyway. So if he gets that 320, take away 10 that he just added in, and then take away that other 30, that puts you right at 270, which is what we'd be open to offering him. But again, sometimes there's just not much you can do. People just kind of make up their minds. So room on that 300 is pretty much that number that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I can speak with Jake and kind of run some numbers and try to get an idea on if we can come up at all. I can just tell you right now, we're not going to be able to come up to 293. It's just again, that just doesn't for us. It's just not going to make a lot of sense. I think that's
you want to try to flip a house for try to buy and sell a house for the same amount.
Yeah, and we wouldn't even be trying to flip it. We'd potentially keep it as a rental property or some type of long-term hold. So he said, if you're trying to flip the property, this might not make sense. So I wanted to take that out of his mind right away. No, it's not necessarily that we're flipping the property. We might keep this as a long-term property, a long-term hold. Because again, that's going to kind of take that out of their mind of like, oh, okay, well then maybe they're not trying to just kill it on the property if they're willing to just, keep it long-term. But again, if we were even just to buy at 290, I mean, that's pretty much buying at the top of the market. And then obviously we would be responsible for the closing costs, the dock fees, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, at 290 or so, we'd actually probably be buying that over market by the time it was all said and done.
Right.
But I mean, I'll talk to Jake and try to see if there's any chance we think we can come up. Is there any wiggle room in there at all? Where if we were to come up to say, 270 or something like that, I mean, do you think that's something you? So I threw out that higher number that we're willing to come to, the 270, which I hadn't thrown out once yet, which is kind of my last ditch effort in a sense to be like, okay, this is the best I can do, 270. What do you think you could do with that? Entertain?
Honestly, probably not, man. I mean, like I said, the house wasn't on the market. If a number came around that was, we're selling it, because I can't go buy anything that I got for any less, you know what I mean? So, and like I said, I got a good payment on the house, and
right.
It's cheap, so I mean, there's really it'd have to be really worth my while to sell it, you know what I mean?
For
That's
sure.
kind of what I was trying to say is, it definitely has to be worth my while to sell it.
For sure. Okay. All right. Well then, yeah, I'll definitely kind of try to hit the numbers again, and if I think I can make it worth your while, I'll give you a call back and let you know.
Okay, cool.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, and Jesse, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, have a good one.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye now. All right, so that was one of those situations where we didn't get the property. So he wanted 300. We're willing to come up to 270 or 30,000 apart. If we try to come up to 280 even, that becomes a really, really tight project. We ran the numbers on it. We'd be looking at maybe making 15,000 or so. So again, we don't like doing projects for 15 grand for a flip or for a wholesale or something like that. If it was to make 15 on a wholesale, we'd do that all day long. But that's on a wholesale. So I mean, you're putting in a lot of work into that project and making sure that everything goes perfect just to make 15. So again, that's why we didn't end up moving forward with it. But again, that's the type of call where you see it time and time again, where they keep your phone number, and they might think about listing it, and they don't end up getting that what they're looking for if they do list it, or they're just kind of throwing out reasons for why they're not going to move forward. And then you might get a call a month down the road from Jesse saying, hey, I thought about it, I don't want to list the property on the market. I probably just wasn't ready at the time. If you could do 280 or something like that, then maybe we'd do it. And then you can kind of restart that negotiation process. But I mean, again, for us, the $30,000 difference, it's just not really going to work for us at the time. Obviously wasn't going to work for him either. But again, you have those calls, you have those deals where you're going to go on an appointment and the numbers are just going to be a little bit too far away. There's no big deal. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not going to get every project. You're not going to get every single appointment that you go on. What you want to do though is you want to just try to give yourself the best chances for closing these deals when you do go on the appointments. So again, if you ended up liking that video, just like and subscribe below. We really appreciate it. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the likes and the comments. It always, just fuels our fire for giving you just the best stuff we can get you. So thanks again. Love you.